I've never built a squirrel deck. That's nuts, right? But with the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl from Marvel Superheroes, I think we've just found our best Squirrel Commander. And I know, a lot of you out there love Chatterfang as a great Golgari Squirrel Commander. And he's got some excellent infinite combos. He's very powerful, but there's a lot to be said about the mono green package, how compact it is, and how efficient it is. So let's take a look at these two commanders side by side and see why Squirrel Girl is unbeatable. These two legends may both be squirrels, but they're looking to do very different things. Chatterfang is two colors, black and green, thanks to that activation cost, and more often than not, looks to pursue a more aristocrat-style path to victory. He makes extra squirrels whenever you make any kind of token, and gives you a very efficient way to sacrifice all of your squirrels all at once for tons of death-based triggers to drain opponents. Where Squirrel Girl also makes tokens on enters and attack, and it's her activated ability that makes her less like Chatterfang and more like a Cranko mob boss. Looking for paths to go infinite with a volume of squirrels to either attack with or make infinite mana with. But where I find the biggest difference is having them in the command zone. Chatterfang needs a few pieces to pop off, largely token generators and some kind of aristocrat effect. 3-card combos are effective and efficient, and there's plenty of redundancy at each step, where Squirrel Girl just needs squirrels and mana. That's it. If you have infinite mana, you just win, and infinite mana is easy to make a few different ways. If you have finite mana, you just need a few squirrels first, but you can get 2 infinite. Look at Kenrith. He's a cEDH tier commander because he enables you to be in 5 colors and wins with infinite mana from the command zone. If we assemble an infinite mana combo with Squirrel Girl, we win from the command zone as well. Where it's not hard to assemble Chatterfang's aristocrat combos, it's much easier to assemble Squirrel Girl's infinite mana combos. Which is why I've put her at the lead of this brew. And why it's important to understand just how layered these combos are, what they do, and what our redundancies are. Everything on our list makes sense. It either makes squirrels, draws cards, ramps, or is part of an infinite combo. Let's start with our commanderless combo, a classic of Scurry Oak and Ivy Lane Denizen. This one, very squirrel-coded, starts with your Ivy Lane Denizen in play and you cast the Scurry Oak. Trigger the Denizen to put a counter on the Oak and make a squirrel. You have just created a loop where you make a squirrel, put a counter on the Oak, to make a squirrel, to put a counter on the Oak, repeat until you have 72,891 squirrels. You may not be able to attack right away, but your opponents are into a wipe the board or lose scenario now. Heck, with a few cards we'll talk about in a moment, they might just instantly lose the game anyway. But to explain our other combos, we're going to have to dust off an old friend. It's time to bring out the chalkboard! And here's where we get our equations for today's lesson. Squirrel Girl plus infinite mana equals infinite squirrels. Squirrel Girl is our only constant in the formula. We can substitute infinite mana with ways to tap creatures for mana to get the same result as well, with the same number of cards and the same potential for redundancy. Each of these cards are 3-card combos, like pairing Fanatic of Ronis with Umbral Mantle and Squirrel Girl. Here we can tap the Fanatic for 4, thanks to being enabled by our commander, untap it with the Mantle, netting 1 mana. We do this infinitely for infinite mana to pump into Squirrel Girl for infinite squirrels. In the rare case all these pieces sit on board, we could do this at instant speed to untap with our Squirrel Army and attack for the win. We could also use some cards we'll mention in a moment to really take this up to an instant victory level. But we could replace the Fanatic with Circle of Dreams Druid as well, provided we have a total of 4 creatures in play. And along those lines, you could also substitute the Umbral Mantle with a Staff of Domination, provided you have 4 or more creatures in play for the same effect. Net 1 mana each activation to make infinite mana and infinite squirrels. But that's not all. This wouldn't be a layered or consistent combo without more options and more redundancy. Which is where, in that same equation, Squirrel Girl plus anything that lets you tap your creatures for mana, plus anything that lets your creatures tap the turn they come into play, achieves the same thing. Infinite mana and infinite squirrels. provided you're making at least 4 squirrels on activation. You get to tap each new squirrel you make to help activate Squirrel Girl's ability, making more squirrels to tap for the ability. Voila! Which means Squirrel Girl plus Sentinel Hierophant plus 1000-Year Elixir can net you infinite squirrels. How about swapping the Hierophants for Elven Chorus and the Elixir for the new Shang-Chi? See? Infinite squirrels. Elven Chorus could also be Jaheira, or a Springleaf Parade too. Plenty of options for this effect, like an Enduring Vitality or a Cryptolith Rites as well. And importantly, we could be using an Akroma's Memorial or Concordant Crossroads in the combo. Since each activation of Squirrel Girl would net us exponential tokens, having our enabler be granting squirrels actual haste means everything we didn't tap we can attack with immediately. All 752,348 squirrels we create can go for the eyes right away. Our other option is also having a Throne of the God Pharaoh in play. That way, at the end of our turn, we deal damage to opponents for all of the squirrels we just tapped for mana. That's an easy way to take out all opponents at once without needing to attack. Now, of course, one last option for the combo involves Phyrexian Altar. Yay, we broke Phyrexian Altar again. Provided you have Squirrel Girl in play and her activation makes 5 squirrels, you can sacrifice 4 of those squirrels to the altar to activate her again, netting 1 squirrel, and then exponentially each time afterwards. It's another way to go nuts and get squirrely with all these little critters. And what this lets us do is string together what I call the combo slot machine. Any 2 pieces plus our commander equals game over. And it's why redundancy makes for the most consistent combos. Not necessarily the fewest pieces, but the most pieces in play that all play the same role. We can't run tutors like Chatterfang can in green and black, but oh wait, yes we can. Thanks to the new Shang-Chi card, 100% of this combo is creature-based. Enduring Vitality or Jaheira plus Shang-Chi, and we get a combo on our hands. And green loves to tutor creatures into play. In fact, we've got several variants of green's tutors that go get us exactly the pieces we need when we need it, adding another layer of redundancy to the puzzle and ramping up the consistency significantly. From here, we just need to pack the list with squirrels to ensure that we can have enough to pop off with. Easy enough. Though, I have worked in some methods to win the old-fashioned way, by beating your opponent senseless with often tiny, but sometimes massive, squirrels. Being able to have a Champion of Lambholt in play to make your creatures unblockable, well, that's a winner. Dropping a classic Craterhoof Behemoth to trample into victory does not get more basic than that. Playing the new Banner of Kinship with a dozen squirrels in play? Bingo, victory. Which makes this deck play like the Johnny's Timmy deck. You get to make tons of little creatures, maybe make them massive, and attack for the win out of nowhere. The combos just get you to everyone's favorite way to take someone out, by sending an army of squirrels right for their jugulars. But we should probably take a look at the upgrade. If we're already building a bracket 4 deck, how do we add some expensive cardboard to the list to push it as high as it will go? And despite having Itlimoc, Avendo, and 3 Tree City in the deck, this is probably a deck where Gaia's Cradle would do real work. If your infinite mana combos get disrupted, your volume of squirrels themselves can power out 1 to 2 activations of Squirrel Girl with these lands. Sometimes it's just enough to spiral into the near infinites and win the game. And while I'm not a massive fan of them in this deck, token doublers are certainly an option. I think you want to be winning the game by the time you can generate 5+ mana, not adding a value enhancer that's made redundant by going infinite. If you've got them and this is your vibe, go for it, but it's super not necessary. And while I mentioned some of the non-game changer tutors, Worldly Tutor, Sylvan Tutor, and Natural Order are all other options that can be added to the deck to make your combo consistently go even higher. Be careful running too many tutors though. You'll end up spending more mana than you need to a lot of the time. I know a lot of you will be running to the comments asking if this can be a bracket 5 cEDH deck, and honestly, I think it's a little too slow and card draw is a little too sparse to make it there. Adding in Chrome Mox, Mox Diamond, Ancient Tomb, and all the other cEDH mana staples could maybe make it 1 to 2 turns faster, but comboing off on turn 3 with very little interaction to stop other opponents, and the volume of squirrels you'll need to make or cast to get into the combo range caps this one, in my opinion, at bracket 4. But let me know what you think. Are you going to go high power with this combo-filled brew, or are you going to keep it casual? Let me know in the comments. If you've made it this far, remember to like, subscribe, and drop a comment before you take the time to check out this video's sponsors like Card Conduit. They are hands down the easiest way to sell your individual Magic cards without the hassle of traditional buy listing. They'll get you top dollar while handling all of the heavy lifting, from sorting to grading to optimizing your price across a huge network of vendors. And they'll give you cold hard cash for it. You can use the promo code MECHANIC right now for 10% off of all fees. And if you want to pick up the cards for this list, make sure to go check out Card Trader. Use my promo code MECHANIC right now for 5% off your order from any TCG. Card Trader's zero system means you can get cards from all over the world with only one shipping fee. Save money and time today. Lastly, you can check out all of my decks on MOXFIELD. MOXFIELD is the best deck building platform in the world and makes it easy to build decks and search for specific cards with their powerful tools. Have you checked out their drag and drop feature yet? It's revolutionary. Be sure to check out my brews and follow my profile there right now. If you were inspired to brew today, you have to hit that subscribe button. Check out this other deck on my channel right now for more sweet tech. And as always, folks, good luck and have fun.